Hello, I'm Henry R. Mockingbird, your host with the mustache. And I just finished watching Rob Zombie's Munsters. And what did I think of it? Well, I had a fun time watching this thing. It's very quirky, and to say the least. I did get a couple of good laughs, and some of the jokes I did laugh quite hard. Rob Zombie seems to be quite the fan of the Munsters, and this feels like a love letter to it. The only problem is, it ain't that great. But there is a couple of good things about it. For instance, the casting. I know a lot of people like to talk crap about Rob Zombie casting his wife in his movies, but I thought she did pretty well as Lily Munster, and I like the guy who played Herman Munster. The guy who plays Grandpa is pretty good, and it's very corny fun. I think this movie is more of a midnight matinee, or a movie you could crack some beers with, have some fun with a couple of friends. And the production design's also really good. Well, for the most part. The only part that isn't so good is the editing. There are many transitions that feel like it came right out of Windows Movie Maker. But other than that, most of the production design is rather good. Particularly the one of the Munsters' house. Which, sadly, we don't really get to that until like halfway through the movie. But that's the plot. The plot is basically, it's kind of a prequel. It is a prequel to how the Munsters started. Like how Lily and, Herman met. And, how Herman was created, which is kind of a spoof of Frankenstein. Like the whole, how in Frankenstein, how Fritz in the movie switches brains, he accidentally grabs an abnormal brain. Here, he bragged Igor in this film, not the bad Igor, the mad scientist's assistant, grabs an idiot, a brain, instead of the genius one. I thought that was kind of clever. And there were a lot of nods to the Munster show and the Universal Munsters. Like, there was a part where Grandpa Munster was watching Abbott and Costello meet Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Isn't that crazy? And you got a couple of Universal Munsters playing on the TV. You got Lily and Herman hanging out with the creature from the Black Lagoon. We have Lily and Herman grabbing a sea creature who they call Spot. That's a nice nod to the show. We got Butch Patrick playing a robot that looks straight out of the robot from the show that Eddie Munster. I hope that this movie gets a sequel so we can stay a little bit in vain with the show. But as it is, it's a quirky, fun movie. And I enjoyed it. I had a good time with it. So I say, if you want to have a good time or just have a spooky good time, watch this movie. You'll probably be entertained by it. And so I give I give Rob Zombie's Munsters a thumb up.